In this video, we're going to look at CRA models for the inverse relationship between addition and subtraction. So what we're going to be looking at is, it's called a fact family. So it's a composition of addition equations and subtraction equations, and we'll kind of highlight how they are related to each other. So what we're going to first start with is showing 6 plus 2. All right, so if we start with 6, and we just have some cubes here, so we have 6. We want to add 2, so we're going to add that or combine that with the group, so we have a total of 8. All right, we would get the same result if we had, due to the commutative property, if we started with 2 and then added 6, all right, we would still get 8. Okay, so that's the addition piece. So this inverse relationship piece, right, when we were adding, right, we had this group over here and we combined it with our other group to create one larger group. So subtraction is just the opposite action or the inverse action. So rather than starting with 6 and then adding 2 to that total group, we're going to be starting with this total group and removing 2, right? So this movement here is showing 8 minus 2 equals 6. Whereas that inverse operation of addition would be 6 plus 2 equals 8. Okay. And kind of similarly with our, if we have 2 plus 6, we have 8. We have 8 minus 6, then we are left with 2. Okay, so this is the concrete model showing that we're dealing with this exact same quantities and we're just doing the opposite action. Right? We're either adding those groups together, or composing that larger group, or decomposing this, or subtracting some amount away. Okay, so that's the concrete model. For a representation model, I'm not going to draw all of them out, so I kind of put some symbols in here. Right, we can start with 8. If this is our starting model, and we were to draw some other model, moving from left to right, that's showing us subtraction. Right, so if we're going to do 8 and we're going to subtract 6, what we'd be left with is 2. If we're going to do 8 and subtract 2, what would be left with is 6. Whereas the inverse operation is moving the other direction. So if we had 6 plus 2, we'd combine those to get 8. Or if we had 2 plus 6, we'd combine those to get 8. Okay. So we could draw all these out. I just kind of did the shortcut version here. But the representational is going to be generally some kind of drawing showing that we're just doing the opposite thing. Or opposite thing with these operations, since they're inverse operations. And then the abstract model for the inverse relationship. So this in its entirety is called a fact family. Okay, so it's all of the addition and subtraction moves that we could do with these 3 values. So if we have 6 plus 2 or 2 plus 6, which will add to 8, and then if we would do the opposite operation, so subtraction. Right, if we were to start with 8 and take away 6, we'd be left with the 2, or start with 8 and take away the 2, we'd be left with 6. Okay, so we can, for example, if we start with 2 and we add 6, we get to 8, or if we start with 8 and take away the 6, then we'll get back down to that quantity of 2. Okay, so these two kind of paired were that concrete model I showed, right, where we have 2, we're adding 6, or we have 8, and we're subtracting 6. Okay, so these quantities just stay the same. It just depends on which direction we're moving these, which operation we're doing. Okay, so in the concrete model, I just had some blocks. Representational model, just a drawing that kind of represented those blocks. And that abstract model is going to be that fact family with the addition and subtraction equations.